Welcome to Valor Latino, a comprehensive look at issues and interests to Milwaukee's Hispanic community on News Talk 1130 WISN. Here's your host, Perfecto Rivera.
Welcome this Sunday morning to the Valor Latino program. I am Perfecto Rivera, your host. My guest and friend with me this Sunday morning is Miss Catherine Ramirez. And Catherine Ramirez and I, we hooked up through the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Saul Newton, our friend there, is the director, if I can, or executive director, and I called out to him to see if I could get him on the show, and he suggested that I give you a call. And so here we are, Catherine Ramirez. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Well, thank you. So as I usually do, I've been doing this show for a while, is I ask my guests to share with us a bit of their background, sort of catch us up to speed so our listening audience can learn more about who Catherine Ramirez is.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm not originally from Milwaukee. I'm actually from Houston, Texas. And I am the third generation. My father being Mexican-American, my mother's family is from Spain. And so I grew up in Houston. I didn't want to live in Houston, so I joined the military.
Oh.
Yep. And the military, I was in the military for 4 years, and that's where I got my education. And that's what actually where I got to travel a little bit, because I got into broadcasting and television, which I was excited after college, which I was really, really excited about, and really was able to travel and move around. So I feel very privileged because the family that I come from is very, very traditional Hispanic, where we didn't travel a lot. We didn't do many things outside of, a driving.
The family.
Right, the driving radius. And so it was really, really great for me to go to college and get out of Houston, Texas and explore. And I think it's interesting because, not to knock my family particularly, but, college was never something that was encouraged or, talked about. And so when I joined the military, it was like it became an ambition, a goal of mine, because, most of the people in the military were going to college. So I feel very, very fortunate and lucky that I was able to take that route in my life in the beginning of my career and be able to explore the different things that are out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what kind of work your parents do, your father?
No, it's a great question because they were entrepreneurs.
Okay.
My dad was a machinist and my mom worked alongside him, and they had their own company for as long as I can remember, and they worked together for, a very long time. My dad finally, he had it as a side job when he got a job with the Union Southern Pacific, the train station,
Sure.
And he retired, with the train station and got a really good pension and retirement out of that. But, all of my childhood is he had worked a lot.
Okay.
My family worked really, really hard to give us the things that, they wanted us to have better than they did.
Certainly. It's a typical, if you will, kind of immigrant story. Regardless of what country you came and immigrated from here, whether it was, Europe somewhere, Germany, Mexico, Honduras, whatever, immigrants that came to this country, that first generation in particular, they were just all about the work, hardworking, land of opportunity, make things work, 1, 2, 3 jobs, whatever it took to make a better life for your family.
Okay, so I have to add to that, Perfecto, because, this is very, very interesting with my family and the uproot, because when my dad has a 4th grade education, okay, because he comes from a family of 18.
Wow.
So he had to drop out of school to help support the family, being a boy, okay? And then my mom did graduate high school, but she comes from a family of 15. Okay, so these are very traditional Hispanic kind of families,
sure.
big families, And so my parents, when they had us, we were bilingual probably till we were about 6. But my dad was so adamant that his children were not going to have an accent because of all the adversity that they came up across, okay? And so he was so adamant that, he told my mom, no more. You're not teaching them Spanish.
Oh,
and this is back in the era, okay, because I'm not a young chicken. So this is back, in the 60s, 70s. And so they were he was very adamant about it that, not to teach his children Spanish, thinking, because, he has a 4th grade education.
Right, sure.
Thinking that this would benefit us when it actually hurt us, in the long run.
Sure. Yeah.
And to this day, like my older sister is bilingual because her husband is, of course, Mexican. And my older brother is somewhat bilingual because his children are bilingual. So it's funny how it evolves and how it comes back around, and your parents think they were helping you when they were actually hurting you.
Well, it was a different time and age, that strong assimilation that they wanted you to have they thought an easier life now that you're living in this country. But, I just want to share with my experience, because I'm bilingual. I'm fortunate that my parents insisted that we speak Spanish at home and English wherever else. Mm-hmm. But I can remember when I was a young boy going to school and being punished by the teacher. My 2nd grade teacher would lock me in the cloakroom. She would lock me in the cloakroom all day. If she heard me speak Spanish at 9 a.m, I would not get out of the cloakroom until school let out.
Wow.
And I mean, it was horrible because, I'm a 2nd grade boy, and she wouldn't even let me go out to go to the bathroom. So often, I had wet my pants in that cloakroom. My breakaway was in 2nd grade. I decided one day that was not going to happen. I broke out of the cloakroom, ran across in front of her, ran to the boys' room. She didn't chase me into there, but that's what changed my life around, because I learned as a 2nd grade kid that if I'm going to do something that I think is right, I'm going to do it and not let an adult or somebody else detour me. It's like, now she did flunk me in 2nd grade because I stopped raising my hand to go do what I needed to do. But anyway, enough about me. But, but it was just a time in life where your father thought that he was doing you a favor in the family by getting you to assimilate faster and learn English, because he was certain that was going to, be more of a greater benefit to you.
That's correct.
So it wasn't that he was a bad person.
No. And again, I reflect a lot, because, he can't help that he had to leave school, and he can't help that the life that he had to live, but he certainly didn't want that life for his children. I do know that.
Right. I'm curious, Houston, you mentioned Houston, growing up in Houston. I've been in Houston a couple times in my life, or through Houston, certainly. Beautiful big town, beautiful. What I didn't like was the heat and humidity was like unbearable, as I recall. So
Right. That's why I am here now. This is home to me, and it's interesting because in my career, because I did move several times, I purposely came back to Wisconsin because I love Wisconsin, not only because of the landscape and the climate, but because of the people. It is a really, really wonderful place, and I've been to a lot of places, and this is just a great place to be.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, I'm from Wisconsin, and I grew up in Wisconsin since I was 5 years old, except for the 4 years I was in the U.S. Air Force. But the people, what you said there, irregardless, we've got our political infighting such, but often, your neighbors, I remember as a young boy moving into new neighborhoods because we moved regularly, and initially it was a hardship, but over time, over short periods of time, those neighbors became part of the family.
Absolutely.
They embraced you. Maybe they didn't at first know who you were or you didn't look like them, but I just want to repeat, Wisconsin people are special, and they have been all my life too. Okay, so military. Okay, what drew you to join the U.S. military?
Okay, so It's interesting because I was really lured by, and I've heard this a couple times now, I was really lured by the commercials when, it says, be all you can be. I was really, really affected by that and lured in a positive way. And I thought, wow, I want that. I think that's cool, and the uniform, the Marines and, all of that. And so I thought, and I also knew I wanted to get out of Houston because a lot of reasons. My life, my growing up was not always pleasant. There was a lot of toxicity there. And it's Houston. There's drugs. There's it's crime. When you're come from a family that is there. There was 5 of us, and they were trying to make our life as normal as can be. There's not a lot of money, you're just getting by, and you're not living in the best places, And so the military was a way for me to escape and to better myself, And so I was taking what my dad was trying to do for us and take it to the next level and do it for myself. And so I joined the military, and I went into the Air Force, and it was going to be a career for me. It was absolutely going to be a career for me. And I worked on missiles, Oh,
wow.
What a transferable skill there. So I worked on missiles, and I thought I was going to travel the world, and I was in Missouri at Whiteman Air Force Base. And again, it was a great experience, and I got to go to college, and I got to meet a lot of wonderful people. And it was really, really good. And I think a lot of the benefits that I brought out was it helped me mature really fast, and you're taught responsibility, and you're taught leadership, and you're taught, goal setting, and a lot of things at a really, really young age, because I went in right after high school at 18. And so you're taught all these things, these life things that you probably learn 20, 30 years later.
Right. Catherine, let me just stop you there for a second, because you've just outlined why I tell people if I were the king of the world here or whatever in the U.S., every young able-bodied, male or female, would serve in one of our military services.
Right.
And it's because of what you've outlined, how you grow, how you mature quickly, how you learn to take on responsibility, how you learn leadership. All those skills that kids or people don't learn until way after, they may be 30, 35, and they're still not sure how to handle tough situations.
Right. Right.
There's talk nowadays about snowflakes. That don't say anything bad because you might ruin their self-esteem. It's like, get over yourself.
Right.
You grow from those situations. If you fall, you get up and you run again. But so the military for me, that's where you learn that the fastest, the quickest, the easiest. Well, maybe not the easiest, but certainly you better learn it. And so,
right.
So you learned that, and you expressed yourself so eloquently in what the importance of that was and is.
Oh yeah, and I would not replace it. I would not, if I had to do my life over again, I would definitely add the military again. I would just have I would try to get a better choice of my job.
Sure.
Something a little more transferable, but that's okay. Cause at the time when I joined, Air Force needs came first, and I get it, cause I think I had pitched for a radio operator position, and I got washed back because I had sprained my ankle. They thought it broke my leg, but I sprained my ankle. And so then of course, that job went on, and I had to get, the next best thing, whatever happened, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I was okay with it. And it was funny.
Catherine, we're going to take a quick break here and bring you right back. But first, our break. This is the Valor Latino program coming to you via News Talk 1130 WISN.
Now more of Valor Latino with Perfecto Rivera on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back this Sunday morning to the Valor Latino program. I am Perfecto Rivera, your host. My guest and friend with me this Sunday morning is Miss Catherine Ramirez. And Catherine and I got connected through the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, the director there, Saul Newton. Thank you so much, Saul. So, again, Catherine, welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, I love your enthusiasm, Catherine. You shared with us the reason why you got into the military and I think the great benefits, how you stated those so eloquently, and my comment about having everybody serve them. If you're able to, why not?
Right.
Anyway. So. I wanted to step back for a second. You mentioned, first of all, you didn't want to stay in Houston. One of the issues was the heat, humidity, but also crime and that kind of stuff. But then you mentioned that you got stationed in Missouri. Missouri.
And that's actually what they call it, was Missouri.
I know. I've been there. That's why
okay.
I said that. It's like Missouri. But again, it's a beautiful state. But for me, the heat, humidity was just a little overbearing for me. But okay, so you joined the U.S. Air Force. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran myself.
Awesome.
So Arkansas is where I spent most of my time talking about heat and humidity. But I did go overseas a number of times on TDYs and such. The military was good to you.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. And again, I thought I was going to be a lifer. I thought I was going to stay in for longer.
You and I both.
Yeah, longer than I had stayed. And it was interesting because I made my decision to get out probably halfway through the 4 years that I was in. And it was a tough decision, but it was a decision I made, because I really did want to travel the world. And I thought the military could do that for me, okay? And but I also knew, because I had a flavor of the college life, I thought, okay, there's something bigger and better too. And so, again, that's why I was challenged by the decision I made. And so it was interesting. Before I think it was 3 or 4 months before I got my papers to leave, to get out, I got orders to Italy. And I was like, wow,
Now they
and that was like really hard, because I was like, Italy, wow. And I would have had it extend, of course, but
Sure.
I was like, I made my mind up. I couldn't go back,
wow.
but it was good. It was good. And this all, in my mind, it all built to where I am at today. It built my career. It led me in the direction where I'm at. It gave me the foundation to do all the things that I did to be the entrepreneur that I am today. Okay, even though it probably was a longer route for me, but I think it was a longer route for me because I was trained to be structured, to be goal setting from the military, and to be loyal. I had so much loyalty, and you could not break my loyalty. And so my loyalty, to the military was intense because they taught me that. I was trained that. And that's why it was a struggle to get out. So after the military, I got into to finish my education, and I went and finished my education at the last place that I was at, which was in Missouri, the Central University.
Oh, okay. And so I'm curious. So now you're in college.
Yep.
And your course, what were the courses that you were picking up? What was your career path there?
Originally, I was going to go to law school, so a lot of political sci. I was originally, and then I had a few elective classes where I took advertising and marketing, and I was sold. I was like, oh my God, I probably need to go down this route. So then I just got a business management degree because I thought, well, let me get a general business management, and if I pursue the law thing after this, it would ebb and flow with both ways. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so that's what I did.
Wow. Okay, Kat, I've been negligent here because you've shared with me a story. We had a little exchange here with some of the information you shared with me that died on my on the laptop here. So
Okay.
just if the audience listening saying, hey, there's a little, but okay. So we connected through the Chamber of Commerce, the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
That's correct.
But your business, let's talk about your business now.
Okay.
Advertising consultant, and you own a company. It's called adBidtise.
adBidtise.
adBid.
Yeah. Bid.
Let's go again. adBidtise.
Yes.
All one word.
Yes. Okay. So I was in the advertising arena for about 25, 27 years. Okay, and I think I got to the point where I hit a glass ceiling, probably because of maybe my color. Okay,
Beautiful
I don't know.
color we share.
Yes, we did. But I did. I hit a glass ceiling because I would pitch and pitch and pitch for the next opportunity. And even though I had a very successful record, I was not getting it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my own faith in my own hands, and I'm going to start my own business. And I started adBidtise. And I created adBidtise as an advocacy for small to mid-sized businesses, probably more small businesses, because what I saw in the corporate world in selling advertising, when I was in advertising, I saw a lot of, we walked away from business because I didn't spend enough. And I wanted to create a business model that I don't care how much money you have. I'm going to help you. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to be your advocate. I'm going to consult you. And I'm going to teach you. Because I would rather see your business grow and blossom than to walk away from it because it wasn't enough money for me. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's why I created adBidtise, because it was all about standing up for the little guy. And making sure they're the ones that need more the help, more the guidance. They're the ones that need the advertising because they're just starting out, or, they need the help because they don't have the resources. And that's what I created, and that's what I'm trying to do.
And it sounds like you're doing it very well. At my conversation with Saul and Aaron.
Yes, Aaron. Yes.
At the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, when I had called and they said, no, not us. You want to interview Catherine Ramirez. So she, and how they phrase it is, no, she's our shining star. So
well, and I should probably talk about the alignment with the Chamber, because the Chamber has been a really, really great partner for me. And I'm excited to be a member of their organization because I feel like they align with the same missions that I have, where they're advocating for veterans, and they're supporting veterans, and they're trying to educate veterans and the community about hiring veterans and why you should hire veterans, And if you heard any part of the beginning of this, show, and hear that veterans are they're conditioned to be your best employees, because of the structure that was embedded in each of us,
Certainly.
We're totally conditioned, embedded to be machines, to be warriors, you know what I mean? To be loyal.
That's a good part of that loyalty, I remember, the trauma of basic training, if you will, and we all went through that, and we were there, for those 90 days. Stressful, but it was impactful. But those other soldiers became your new family.
Yes.
And you learned, and they learned to care for you. If they had your back as you had their back, and there was just a camaraderie that was built through that difficult process that I think was a total enlightenment of life.
Yes. And let me add to that, because it's something that you can't find anywhere else, like ever. Because through my, because I drank the Kool-Aid of corporate America, and I did all that because I was, fed and told, you need to climb the corporate ladder, you need to stay with the company, 30 years, whatever, and get that gold star,
Right.
But, the brotherhood and sisterhood of military far exceeds that, because you do know someone has your back. They always have your back. And corporate America is completely opposite. It is absolutely the opposite. And I think to me, it was a little bit to me of a shock, a culture shock. A corporate culture shock for me.
Sure.
Because it's not the same.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
So, well, it's amazing. And, I'm so glad that you came to be my guest this Sunday morning. Thank you, Saul, and thank you, Aaron, for insisting that I give you a call, which I'm so happy of. I want to share something here that you shared with me as part of the information about who you are. And just the last line that I want to read, it said, and this was from Saul's office, Catherine believes every business should have the resources to stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. She believes no business will be left behind. Okay, it almost sounds like a military statement, doesn't it?
It does. If I listen to you say.
Well, again, so Catherine, people want to reach out to you. How can they connect with you?
Well, they can certainly go to the website advertise.com. But can I do a shout out for the Veterans Chamber?
Absolutely.
Because they do have a few events coming up, and I would love to see some new faces and really get to meet other people that want to support the veteran community. Their big event coming up is the Veterans in the Workforce Summit, which is Friday, September 29th. They also have a command post.
Veterans in the Workforce Summit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Friday, September 27th. At 11 a.m., and it is sponsored by Baird Corp., which is awesome. It's a great event.
Absolutely.
I've been to it, and it's wonderful. They also have a very unique opportunity, too. They have a command post where 10 businesses get selected, and they provide rent, resources, training, and coaching.
Wow. Wow.
You have to apply to, of course, be selected, but it's the only one in the state of Wisconsin, and I think it's a great way to support veteran businesses.
And that's with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And they can find that information out on the Internet.
That's correct, and it's called Command Posts.
Fabulous. Well, Catherine, we've come to the close of our show. Ask our listening audience to join us the following Sunday. This is the Valor Latino program coming to you via News Talk 1130 WISN.